Good evening. Those who are going to receive awards, you should be sounding very happy and looking like you've come to a party. You've been working very hard, very serious the whole year. Good evening, learners.
Good evening.
Is that the best we can do? Good evening.
Good evening.
Parents, good evening. And I'm here with people who have worked hard to get the attire. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. This is not clothes that you just walk into a shop and buy. It's bought with sweat, sometimes tears, sometimes prayers of telling God, if you don't do it for me now, I'm leaving you. But finally it is done. So let's clap hands for all our friends. So this is encouragement to say in a few years, we want to see you wearing one of these or two or three or 5 or 10, depending on how far you want to go. As they've already introduced me, my name is Mancha. So because you guys look so serious, I want us to zhuzh up the place a bit. Let's stand up. Learners, educators, parents, let's stand up. Say hi to the person next to you. That was a really long hi. Ask them for some room. Ask the person next to you for some room. Are we ready? We're going to do some confessions. My dreams. Actually, I want to hear the parents and the educators being louder than the kids. Because the kids keep thinking about their dreams. But as the older we get, the more we stop thinking about our dreams. For most of us, when you ask us about our dreams, we'll tell you what we wish for our kids. But today, when we're talking about dreams, I want each and every one of us who is here, myself included, to think about our dreams. My dreams.
My dreams.
My dreams are valid.
My dreams are valid.
My dreams are valid.
My dreams are valid.
I believe.
I believe.
Guys, you must say it like you mean it. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
In myself.
In myself.
I believe.
I believe.
In my ability.
In my ability.
I am. So here it's, if you are a man, you'll say a man. If you are a woman, you'll say a woman. Please don't be confused. I am a woman.
I am a woman.
Who makes things happen.
Who makes things happen.
I conceive a thing.
I conceive a thing.
I pursue it.
I pursue
And I
it.
accomplish it.
And I accomplish
My dreams
My dreams
are valid.
are valid.
Look at one of your neighbors, just one. Your dreams
Your dreams
are valid.
are valid.
Don't be discouraged.
Don't be
Your
discouraged.
dreams
Your dreams
will come true.
will come true.
Now you can sit down. So now that we are all relaxed, as they've already mentioned, my name is Mancha Pierha. I grew up in Seshego. I come from a small village in Motokwa, in Limpopo. Some of you may know it. For those of you who have been to Dubai, Dubai is very similar to Motokwa. Have you been to Dubai, guys? Have you also been to Motokwa? Very similar places. So today, I want us to quickly talk about raising a generation of strong people. What we need as Africa, what we need as South Africa is not weak people. What we need is not people who look at problems and challenges and know how to describe the problems or the challenges. What we need as a generation and as a nation is people who know how to be solution-minded, who know how to not only find solutions, but who know how to apply solutions. So there are 4 things that we're going to look at, and those 4 things are going to say to us, whether we are parents and we are thinking about ourselves as leaders in our society, or we are thinking about ourselves as people who are raising the next generation, or maybe we are members of what we call the next generation. What every generation will need is to raise people who are strong, who are going to be at the forefront, who are not going to be afraid of confrontation, who are not going to be afraid of being trailblazers and pioneers. So the first thing, if going to be strong in whatever area that we find ourselves in is you must believe in yourself. These words, they sound so familiar now. We hear them so much. But so many of us are walking around with a self-esteem that is so low that we don't see ourselves for who we truly are. If you think about a fruit, and I know that most of you think fruits come from fruit and veg, but actually fruits come from trees, most of them. So if you look at a fruit and you look at the seed, that should you plant that seed, it will become that fruit. Many times when you look at the seed and you look at the fruit, do they look the same? No. Does the watermelon seed look like a watermelon? Does the apple seed look like an apple? Who has seen a banana seed? So if I was given the job by God to decide on what seeds should look like, if I was deciding what a watermelon seed is supposed to look like, I would look at a fully grown watermelon and then I would make a minuscule part of it and I would say, this is the watermelon, because if you look at the seed can immediately reveal what it will become. But God, being God, gave us something very different from what the seed should become after it is fully developed, because He was giving us an analogy of our own lives. Sometimes when you look at your life and you look at your dreams, you can't see any correlation. God is telling you that you are going to be a successful business person, but you come not only from the poorest village, but from the poorest family in the poorest village. So when you look at yourself, you can't see how you are ever going to become something that is so different from the family that you come from and from the village or the township that you come from. But because God has always been in the business of making brown little looking things to turn into green and red apples, know that you don't have to look like your future for you to become what is waiting for you. Many of us are so frustrated because when I look at my life and I look at my dreams, there are no similarities. When I look at my life and I look at my dreams, I'm even afraid to tell people about my dreams because they will laugh at me and say, Macha, you must be joking. You think you're going to be a supermodel? Look at your face. Look at your hair. This thing is not going to work out. What they don't know is that God, when He sees the seed, He already can see what it will become when it is fully developed. Especially for the young people. Take it from someone who's been around for some 40 odd years. I remember when we were in high school, all the 8 girls, the one that everyone wanted to speak to, how we wished we could be them. How we wished the boys could also stop us in town, and they were not stopping us. They were always asking us, give me your friend's phone number. But what we did not know is that God does not only see you where you are, He sees what you can become. So 20 years later, it won't matter that you didn't have a hairline when you were 17. 20 years later, it won't matter. Other people won't hear this. That you had a shrub. It won't matter that you had a shrub 20 years later. So if we focus on believing in ourselves, all the adversities that we face will fade away, because our future will speak louder than anything that we face. The second thing, don't allow your past to dictate to you who you are. We live in a corrupt world, a world where some of us have been sexually abused, a world where some of us were hid, a world where some of us spent the first 10 years of our lives being told how stupid and ugly we are. Just because that is your past, it does not mean that is your future. So one day, my father, who is an entrepreneur, called me when I still worked for Impala Platinum as an engineer in Springs. He called me and he said, you know what, there is an auction, I'm coming to fetch you, find out where this place is. I don't know if there was no GPS or we just didn't have it. I don't want to lie and say saying there was no GPS during those days. So I found the address, I went to look for the place. Then my father traveled from Limpopo, came to where I stayed in Benoni, and we traveled, and we went to what? I did not know what it was, but my father had told me that we are going to an accident-damaged car auction. I don't know what I was thinking, because isn't the names explanatory? That obviously these are cars that were damaged in an accident and they are going to be auctioned. But I don't know, poor me, I didn't think that was what we were going to. We arrived in this auction, I'm the only woman there. I'm the only young person there. And there are all these grown men, and they are bidding for cars that are in an accident that is so bad that the insurance said we would rather pay you out than fix them. So the entire time I'm shocked. 10,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. I'm shocked. What is going on? Grown men are buying these things. Then ultimately we arrive at a blue, I think it's an X5. And there's like 10,000, 20,000, 20,000, for that 50,000. Then 50,000. Then nobody buys. 50. This is an X5. This is a BMW. 50,000, 60,000. Then somebody bought it, I think, for 85,000. That day, I realized something. Life will keep you. Life will place you in an accident. Other cars will hit you. But the fact that you are a BMW will not change. So your car is going to hit you. And in the end, when you try to go to your friends, peer pressure says don't hang out with us. Police says don't be here. When you are with your cousins, they say now that you are going to a better school and you are speaking proper English, you think you are better than us. When you try to go to your parents, they say keep quiet, we are busy, keep quiet. There is nowhere for you to go. And during that time, when you are looking like an accident-damaged car, the Lord is saying you are still the BMW I created you to be. Don't allow life and don't allow your experiences to reduce your worth. Don't allow your experiences to reduce your value. Now you've put yourself on a 75% off sale because life has taught you that you are not good enough. You are still as worthy as you were the day God created you. Don't allow your past to tell you otherwise. The last two things. Play your own game. So when I was young, we would play netball. I went to a girls' school. Honestly, I'm 40 and I'm married. I still blame my parents. Because if I had at least gone to a school where there were other people, maybe I would have learned to communicate with people of the opposite sex and maybe I would be married. So I'm glad that you guys are not at a girls' school. But I'm not saying you must go out with each other. It's too soon. So if people have to be dumped today, I endorse it. If you don't know how to dump them, I'm available on Facebook Messenger. I have immediate lines that work effectively to dump a person in such a way that they will not ask you for the reason. So if you are people, inbox me on Messenger. I have readily available statements that there's no comeback for those things. No comeback. So we would play netball. And that's the sport I grew up knowing. And to be a Christian sister. So stealing is not how you measure your success. When they say they've had a good day at the mortuary, we are not having a good day in our family because we are burying our grandmother. But in the mortuary, they got a customer. So the two people are affected by the same incident. One is crying, the other one is happy. So in life, you must know your sport. You must know your game. When you are playing golf, you can't start running after the golf ball. And when they ask you why you are running, you say, I want to finish quickly. You can't. You must understand the sport you are playing and measure your success accordingly. The last thing, don't compare yourself with anyone. So, I don't know if you know these very big trucks that move, let's say they move coal. You look at them, even I don't know if they ever wash those trucks, I must be honest. I've never seen a clean truck that is moving coal. So, if you and I, we each have 2 million rands. With my 2 million rands, I go and I buy a truck to move coal because I have a company that delivers coal. And you are a basketball player. Okay, basketball is the wrong sport in this country. You are a rugby player. They make money. You are a cricket player. Or you are a hip-hop artist. You go and you buy what do these hip-hop artists buy? A Maserati. Is that reasonable for a hip-hop star? It's because I go to gym with Casper Jovest and that's what he drives. I'm trying to show you that I'm gymming. Can you see? That's it. So the hip-hop star goes and buys the Maserati. The entrepreneur goes and buys the coal truck. When we go to Utogwa during the December holidays for Christmas, I will not be able to take my coal truck to Utogwa, but the hip-hop star will take his Maserati back home. When the family of the hip-hop star sees the Maserati, look at what our son bought. Your father is embarrassed. Didn't you buy anything? Show them the pictures of your truck. Show them the pictures of your home. So one of the reasons why we are struggling with such high levels of depression amongst our young people is because we continually compare ourselves with one another. Sometimes I wish I could throw away social media because what do people do? I don't know whether you are looking at me now. I have sweat and everything. My specs are not sitting properly. When you see my picture on Instagram, I will be looking like I've just walked out of a makeup artist room. So when you see me there, you say, yo, Anna, have you seen Mancha? This is how she's always shining. You don't know all the apps, airbrush, remove all the wrinkles, remove all the zumpas, remove all the discolorations. So you are sitting there comparing your real life to a figment of somebody's imagination on Twitter and on Instagram. You know everything that is going on in Beyonce's life. You know when her children were born, their birthdays, you know which star sign they are. You even know whether she's pregnant or not before her doctor finds out. We follow these celebrities. And when we follow them, and when we idolize them, and when we look at people that we think are successful, we look at our lives and this discomfort begins to eat at us. We feel like we are underachievers. We feel like the stuff we are doing is not good enough. And then we want shortcuts. And then we get into trouble. And our children have blessed us. Or they themselves are blessings. And they don't understand that the only blessing you can get is from God. The only one who will bless you without expecting anything in return. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your evening.